Alliance, for example, any team actually that might get, like a 0-2, it doesn't really say anything about how close the matches can be, especially since this group is just completely insane. Now we're heading into Champ Select over here. Omo, oh, right off the bat, the Olaf is gone, and so is the Camille. Omo, what do you think? What do you think? Actually, you think the best matchup would be in terms of, like, the lanes? Are we looking at the Baron lane here? Are we looking at the mid lane as well, like Gamerness mentioned?
Well, there's a lot of things to look for, right? Because I think if you look across the board, you guys raised some really good points. SBTC have carries from top to bot, and like you said as well, Matt, Mika, Alliance have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There might be a question of, is there too many? But they definitely have a lot. And we don't really know which approaches these teams want to take. Knowing Vietnamese teams, they might just go all out, pick all carries, 5 carries, and try to out-mechanics you that way. That's something that's very viable for them. But the big question for me is Alliance. Which option are you opting to play towards? Are you going to play towards Shinsekai, Raven, Vaki, Jelson? Who's going to be your carry here today, and how are you going to enable them? Banned so far pretty standard. This is pretty much what SBTC have been banning regionally for a while now. Alliance, very understandable first bans. You want to get rid of these super strong champions.
I think what is really important is that you see like the Olaf being banned out, but then the Jarvan is still available, and they could try and empower things that way. Renekton is still an option, but the thing is with Shinsekai or SSK is that he can play a variety of Baron laners, so it kind of depends on how this matchup with Unero goes. I think the prio is going to be towards bot side for Alliance. They might just go for the Zyra Khan and try and pick that up early on if SBTC don't necessarily try to flex that away first.
Lee Sin being banned away, I like this. This was
That's
TF's most played, highest win rate champion throughout the regular season. So you want to get rid of his most OP pick, and with that, this is a Renekton, Ziggs, or Varus angle. We want to see what SBTC are going to prio here. I think it's Renekton.
Yeah, I think so too. I remember Unero being very, very, very adept. And there you have it. It's probably going to be Unero over there on the Renekton. Yeah, go ahead, Gamerness.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, I mean, depending on how they play this out, TF could also be the secondary carry. Yep. We've seen him play other things like the Graves as well before, and that's kind of like the way that SBTC kind of lean towards, where they flex that pick later on, so it's not just relying on Kiro and Julie to be the playmakers. You could also have TF, which is a very interesting tool to have in your back pocket compared to a lot of other teams who just do not have that flexibility.
What is this? An early Rakan pick from Alliance. This is going to be really interesting if they lock it in. I don't normally see Rakan being this high prio, so I'm a bit curious as to what this pick means.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see if Azor Veki will be going for one of the tankier champions, or if he's gonna stick to like the mages. I know he was very, very adept on the Orianna back in the summer season, so really curious to see if we'll see that again. Gamerness, what do you think? Don't reveal any strats, but yeah.
Look, I just think that Alliance is super comfortable at Zyra Khan, and I think that they love to try and play for that. So the Rakan pick up early is also to partly deny SBTC Esports, but there are just so many options still available and still left on the table for them to try and draft for that the Rakan doesn't really impact things that much. The Ziggs is a nice takeaway. If they go for the Gragas Senna though, we're starting to see a pretty interesting composition with a lot of layered crowd control, so they could actually go for some pretty heavy damage in the mid and jungle position if they want to. Please don't pick Mundo. Please don't pick Mundo. Please don't pick Mundo.
Let me just step in here really quickly and say, yeah, the point about the Zyra Khan is really good, especially knowing that SBTC is a team that likes to play the Senna bot lane, play around the Senna funnel. So I do think Zyra Khan is a pretty good answer to that, but it comes down to your mechanics check, and the Mundo that you asked not to see is locked in indeed.
Oh.
Yeah, they probably heard you. They probably heard you.
Doomed. Okay,
literally
so
true.
I'm gonna explain my rationale, right? Mundo just doesn't provide enough for the team. He needs a lot of time to scale up, and you have a lot of initiators, but the problem with Ziggs is that even with the initiation, he only does so much. There's nothing he can really do to SBTC. If they start to draft for hard disengage
what's going on?
Reset here, it knocks back Alliance entirely. You get something like the Yasuo, the wind wall, it blocks so much of the damage that you have available. I just don't see what Alliance are gonna try and go for here.
What is going on here with the beefy boys that Alliance is setting up? That's a lot of tanky frontline coming in, but you really need the DPS to follow this up. Exactly. I think it might just be the Xayah, but we'll have to see.
I don't see it going any other way.
The Dr. Moon, I don't know. When Team Secret picked it yesterday, we were kind of like, what? It turns out it worked for them. But I don't think, I don't know if like, okay, I'm shot. Okay, they seem to be up to something here.
They are indeed. Okay, so let's wait until they lock this in.
if they do, I mean, we've seen this show
there
show
you go.
before. I mean, we saw the Black Cleaver version of an Akshan in the mid
It's that
side,
it's
you know.
that version, right? So he's gonna play
Right.
Akshan mid into Yasuo. He's gonna play for a very aggressive early game together with Mundo jungle.
And then have to make some adjustments because of what the other team's doing. It's like when you're playing tic-tac-toe and you keep cutting each other off and then before too long nobody wins. It's the movie War Games from I think 1995, somewhere in that range. SBTC go for this really strong start with Gragas Renekton, and Alliance go, oh no, we need frontline tank value. They pull out Mundo, they pull out Garen to be that frontline tank value, and all of a sudden the draft that I thought was going to go straight over to SBTC is very interesting.
Yeah, and the big question mark for us was what AD carry would Alliance lock in? We were wondering, would it be the Tristana, would it be the Desire? Could it even be the likes of an Ezreal, some champion with mobility versus the critical strike build? Are you looking for a power spike now, or looking for a power spike later on when this Mundo will become an absolute monster, as we've already seen in the group stages? So let's take a moment to, review what we have. We've got ourselves another Yasuo. We've got that bread and butter combo again. Where should we be looking at the focus?
Well, early game is SBTC's to lose, and they're going to try and win it through the presence of this Riven in the jungle, who's going to get a little bit further ahead than you expect a Riven to. He's just going to show up in the mid game in TF's hands and start being really scary. And they're going to have a genuinely terrifying mid-game team fight between the Yasuo, Renekton, and Gragas, with that Riven kind of providing the knockups, providing most of the damage in those team fights. And if they start snowballing, the game's over. But should we go a little longer than that? Alliance are going to be able to take a whole lot of that damage on the chin and just keep going. The Garen and Mundo frontline is really difficult for SBTC to get past. And if we go to mid-late game, then I'm kind of an Akshan believer. I kind of put my faith in Ozraveki on this character. I think he can be scary.
Well, it's getting scary in the bot lane here, isn't it? So far, double root lands there from the setup, but the first blood is found. Jelsona's first gank, swings the hammer, and brings him down with the axe, and gets that kill. Now
Ozraveki.
SBTC answer back. Always fancy feet. Then actually secures it somehow, some way. Yasuo's gone. The power spike is starting here early, and TF is far too late to the fight.
I think he could have gotten Raven, but he doesn't execute on it. Wow, incredible early fight goes over to Alliance as you're talking about. SBTC going for a very aggressive early peak. And this is a little bit off tempo for them because they do have a ton of mid-game power. Once you have those ultimates online, once you have first item on the Riven, on the Renekton, they're much scarier. So I actually think it was a little bit of an error for them to force the fight down bottom early, but the reason they do it is because they want to get that Senna off to a good start. Kiral is an incredibly good AD carry player. Uh-oh.
Look at this beautiful top lane dive. The ultimate was getting channeled, but it gets cancelled and buffered, and there would have been a turret in the way anyway. Good position there from Yaniro, and TF reads the play beautifully. So 3v2 they fight. And the honey fruit is there if he does want to stick around, but opting for the full reset instead. So Alliance, as much as they can, be a nuisance come that mid to late game. Certainly aren't falling over here in the early.
Yeah, and it's because of that early fight down bottom. Because again, if you go late game, that Senna is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I am not convinced that Akshan trades evenly against it. Okay, Ozraveki's just dead. Especially not now, as SBTC execute a really good gank in the mid lane. So all of the like late game hopes for Alliance kind of are pinned upon getting a decent ball rolling during the early and mid game whenever they spot an opportunity. This is a very hard game for them to win compositionally. Because of that, they need to find momentum, but they did get a little bit of it handed to them down bottom. That's going to be a pretty decently sized Ziggs in the mid game. And I look for them to make plays through that. I look for them to keep this pressure up during the early game.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best champions to really drive their narrative home, to, put you in that ability to contest objectives, to siege up turrets, to go even, to force those trades, which we've seen the very best do, to play to their own win condition and not feel reactive. Now,
Drake here.
They're going to group up. Yeah, as you said, that first Drake has been engaged 4 minutes into this one, and it was going the way of Alliance, but SBTC is saying thanks for the leash. We're going to go for the fight instead. The skirmish breaks out. Mega Inferno Bomb dropped onto 2 bruisers. They both survive somehow, but then Jelsing comes in with the cleaver and answers back. Both junglers getting aggressive, both finding a killer piece. But the Yasuo gets traded for the
TF
Rakan.
has to back. Alliance can burn this. There's no jungler here for SBTC. Jelson can burn this.
Locked inside the base, and they're getting closer and closer by the minute. Explosive cast goes out nice and early, but you're never going to beat a smite. Hold your nerve and hold your finger, but they guarantee it. The flash burnt, but Aquino still falls on down all the same, and SBTC just too keen to fight.
Really, really well played by Alliance to recognize that they'd scared TF away. They'd done enough damage, he just had to back, and so they can burn down that dragon. And towards the end of it, Akino thinks he spots an opportunity. It goes a little bit awry. He dies. It doesn't actually matter because he still finds so much ground gained on the map that he scares people back. They have to reset over on Alliance because of the damage he does. And that means that the Rift Herald, traditionally the more favored early objective even, does go to SBTC. They still will have a gold advantage coming out of this play. Not only at the top of your screen, but a significant one in the pocket, as that Rift Herald is probably good for at least 1,000.
Certainly would be, and if they want to make sure that Renekton becomes an absolute powerhouse to play for, then it certainly could be a good time. The wind wall's down, and that means it's the freest ultimate you'll ever see coming out there from the action. TF, always right place, right time, but the timing, 5 seconds too short. There's the body slam in, looking to try and take down Jelson. He has no maximum dosage, so he is very squishy, and they do answer back with a beautiful shutdown.
There's this dual lane roaming down though with the Mega Inferno Bomb to cut the wave. Here come Alliance.
Quickness goes out, CWJ utilizing that movement speed, but doesn't hit the grand entrance. It doesn't matter. The charm is all they need. And eventually they find that kill. 4v1 they hunt, and Azura Vecchi claims the revival to bring back Jelson.
Skibby, put on your seatbelt. We are gaming here. This is some wild rift because SBTC go off of that momentum. They're going to summon this Rift Herald mid and try and burn through Jelson.
They certainly are. 4v1, they go into the mid lane, but then actually that bot lane engage comes straight back on through. The Herald is summoned, but the turret survives down to 58. You could blow your nose and it'll fall on down. The turnaround route, it connects onto two, but they've got no damage. The throughput is gone. The two main assassins with the range damage is zoned away afar. Out comes the Dawning Shadow, the turning of the fate, the last breath, the knock-up, the damage to connect. SSK in trouble, and Yunero will guarantee that they do find that kill. Now fighting in a 5v4, they'll get that turret. Without that to worry about, will they continue to fight the fight here? Zoravecki hits the ultimate. Can go into the shadows, but it just won't matter.
What an early game. Alliance get credit for the first turret break down bottom during that entire mess because they rotate effectively enough to hold that turret for an extra beat in mid. They get the bonus gold from that, and that's actually very important because it keeps the gold relatively close. There's only about 1,000 gold separating these two teams. They do give over a kill just from over-aggression in the mid lane. They thought Ozaravaki was going to be able to rotate up into the mid before the kills happened, and they were a little wrong about the timing there, but I love Alliance taking the fight to SBTC because, again, they have to. The key characters to watch right now are Kiral, who has been thriving off of these fights. He's gotten 3 assists and an uncounted number of souls, just being able to farm them off of auto-attacking enemy characters, which is going to make him extremely scary in this mid to late game.
It doesn't stop there though. We are going straight back into the ganking action as SSK says, I'm a Garen, what on earth are you doing? Don't you dare try and touch me in a 2v1 because I can just walk away. And now the tempo will be reset because that second Drake, the all-important one, especially for these two teams that want to be explosive, want to get those kills as quickly as they can. Infernal up in 20.
And the other thing to watch here is Kiral's giving up a lot of minion gold. He's not farming. He's giving all that minion kill gold over to Arcana. So if you're looking at this support Gragas and going, man, why is he doing so much damage? It's because he's functionally the AD carry. The Sen is relying on the souls to get her farm. So she's going to be scaling almost exclusively off of the souls, and this Gragas is going to start hurting into the mid game. He's going to go full AP. Arcana is going to have some damage to bring to bear.
So is Raven, chucks at the Mega Inferno Bomb, evaporates the mid wave, as they know that timing is ever so crucial now, playing around these side lanes, utilizing the vision to good effect. Now, Julie is locked in the bot lane here, trimming a wave, and the fight's going to break out here. 5v4 CWJ with a massive engage, knock it up free, but there's no follow-up, TJ. The opportunity presents itself, the support goes in, but the rest of the team a little bit sleepy here. Comeuppance goes out, max channel, but Julie says it's my time to shine, jumps in with the last breath and guarantees that they will find that kill traded back. Raven gone. Flash is being burnt. Julie there a little bit longer, but 1v4 inside the enemy blue buff. The rest of the team said, you're too far away from us. We can't do much about this. And when members lost a second Drake there, it's looking like Alliance that still want to force the agenda.
Yeah, both junglers still up. This is a 4v4 for the Drake.
Yeah, flirting with danger right now. Maximum charge is a big amount of attack damage there if he can so utilize it. There's the TP
in, 4v4
coming on
proper
through.
now.
Julie not too far away, and Raven soon to spawn as well. He's also
Alliance
picked up the
have to
enchantment rune. They all want to contest this one.
Give a TP,
but
Raven's
Jelson's not in
back.
range. Jelson can't contest. He can't go for the smite. The Mega Inferno goes out. The
Oh!
Mercy Injustice comes crashing on down. They get that kill. They answer back, and they remove Kirill.
This is insane! Maybe my favorite game of the tournament so far is we just had maybe a 3-minute team fight,
Ooh.
and it's not done yet!
Okay, no! Cheeky little solo kill. When he sees 5 members in the mid lane, he says, I'm not afraid. There's tier 1. That's my buddy. That's my protection. And gone is your Ziggs. And one by
He's
one, they're going in
going!
now. What on earth is happening here, TJ? The tornado doesn't even
Double
connect.
charm!
But now it's a Yasuo in the midst of an absolute Raven party. He's taking them all down.
My God!
He gets a double. And as Yanira says, get me in on the action, get me in on that scoreboard. And they wipe the floor here with Alliance.
Double res though, because one of the last kills in that fight went over to Ozraveki, and that means we can contest for this Baron as SBTC try to just burn it down. Alliance have even members on the board thanks to the Akshan passive.
Can't go for this one. CWD does not have that ultimate, but he did have a flash and the exhaust if the engage was on. Burns the blast cone, but has he been a little bit too greedy here? Not to be punished. That tier 1 in the mid lane. As we calm things down, will fall as Alliance will claim something back.
Hold me, Skimmy! What do I do?
You're too far away, mate.
What an early game. And Alliance have done some really good trading throughout this. And I think that's very important to put a spotlight on. They've actually played this incredibly well. But SBTC walk away from that entire exchange very happy indeed. They've grown their gold lead to 2,000, and most importantly, they're continuing to tick away on that win condition of Kirill. He's getting very beefy into this mid-lane game.
Totally is, and that is the concern, right? Making sure that you got the damage to match the mitigation that is coming out as the response from these bruises, which will pack a fair bit of punch themselves. Don't forget them. They might look like the beefcakes, but they can certainly wrestle with the best if given half an opportunity to get in on the action and showcase that, look, tanking isn't as boring as it seems. You know what? You can be a carry. That's fun. But I can carry in just a slightly different fashion. Now, Yunero's working overtime here to get that turret, trying to equalize the state here. 3 turrets still in favor here for Alliance as he jumps in, slice and dice, being aggressive, rightly so, because the rest of the team are here to back him up. 3v2 they go. Mega and Photobomb trimming away, but not much more. It's not really hitting them that hard.
He just stone plated all of that, Skimmy.
He just
pops
walks
the
away.
gargoyle as stone plate and just eats all that damage.
Just laughs at it. And now Alliance are looking to try and scurry to the hills and say, well, we need to find some form of response. And they won't find it in the mid lane as Julie. He's just too nimble.
Julie, he's already completed Blade of the Rune King. This is a terrifying Yasuo, actually. And you might look at his scoreline, goes 3-5-4. That's not massive, but he's got so much gold. Good lord.
The flash all in. He's looking to try and make that play right there. The wind wall goes out nice and early. He's still hunting for blood. No vision, but he doesn't seem to be deterred. He's a madman. He's possessed. He doesn't care. But they will calm down.
And
the
Julie's
ghosts go out.
one of those players, runner-up in the Summer Super Cup, one of the best mid laners in the world, and he's such a duelist. If you ever give Julie a 1v2, a 1v1 that he thinks he can win, he is going to full send it. He is going to take that fight. And that's what you're seeing already here as Ozraveki now looks on. This turret's under threat.
Got the most gold in the game, but it's a beautiful 2-man knockout. They just sidestep the Mega Inferno Bomb once again. Alliance defending that turret with their life. They're losing so much health. Oh, CWJ's just gone. It looked like a one-shot, but it was a delayed one at just that. Now Jelson 1v2 in the backline here for SBTC, zoning him away, which means the Bruiser boys of the Renekton and the Riven have to try and dive the Akshan, and somehow he survived. Jelson is a monster. He 1v2s. This is what Mundo does. And they're just going to lose everyone in this dive.
My God, that's the Baron to Alliance. As two things turn the difference. One, you cannot kill Jelson. Two, Ozurvaki outplays that entire team fight and gets the resurrections. He dies at the end, but he's brought 4 players back. They're here to take the Baron, and Alliance are leading in this game versus SBTC, who are the best team out of the Vietnamese region, who were the runners-up at the Summer Super Cup. Many people consider them one of, if not the best team in the world, and Alliance, the super team out of Singapore, are fighting them blow for blow in this mid-game.
I mean, just look
Here we
at
go
this
for the
replay.
Dragon.
It's just so unreal for me.
No, we need to watch
But
this
we don't even
play.
care about
That's
the replay
Dragon.
anymore. Yeah, as you say, play by play, and picture in picture is where we're at, because they've got a Baron and they won that team fight. They've already removed the Yasuo. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Big mid carry against the support. Demacian Justice crashing on down again with the Rampage as SSK unstoppable. Double summoners on your head, spin to win and burn you down. You're silenced and you're upset because this game is getting out of control and it's getting out of your grasp. But SBTC, despite everything here, TJ, they've still got a gold lead.
Kirol tanks that, and it's huge. Ozurvaki doesn't get any reses. And SBTC, you're absolutely right to point it out, still have a gold lead despite these very hairy team fights. And Ozurvaki, he's scaling into his damage spike, but he's not there. And what's about to come online is Kirol. I've been saying it all game. He's about to complete his second item. This is going to be a Black Cleaver, and that's going to mean that he's shredding what Mundo has, what Garen has, this massive armor. And the second those two, those 3 Black Cleavers, actually, good lord, are online for SBTC, it's going to get so hard for Alliance to tank through these team fights as they have been doing so. Now, though, here's the Drake burned down.
Oh, third Drake of the game, secured here by TF, but it could have been close. CWJ has been impressing me so far with his Rakan gameplay. The fight is split, Raven across the wall, dishing at the poke and the harass, but it's not enough. The burst, the engage, the pressure, and a sure right imposing threat that SBTC are displaying on this map. You've got bruises, you're tanky, but we're cleaving you down, and it's TF that's on a killing spree after taking 3.
And Alliance, they don't read the scoreboard. They don't realize that SBTC can absolutely take team fights versus their beefcakes right now. And their very tanky frontline steps into that fight in an awkward position because they think they have enough HP to contest, and SBTC blow them up.
The flash body slam, the Zonius is there, but we're queuing up spells. Oh, okay. Well, Gragas gets denied underneath the turret, but I'm sure he won't mind. It's a delayed ace, and an ace that will net them at least 1
5
inhibitor.
on res. 5 seconds on these resurrections. That's going to mean that SBTC cannot end the game here, but they have just blown it wide open. That team fight around the Drake handed them the gold lead, and it hands major item completions across the board. You see Infinity Edge completed here for Julie, meaning that this Yasuo is now at his power spike. You see the Black Cleaver starting on a Sheen item, probably the Iceborne Gauntlet over here for Kirol. He's now going to absolutely burn through these team fights as a supportive damage dealer with the souls yielding the vast majority of the damage. And what you see here is the power of an AP Gragas, just splitting up this fight and buying space for these assassins. Julie to run through the team fight and threaten the backline. And I guess this Renekton's an assassin as well. I disagree with it, you know, theoretically, but Yunaro's playing it as such, so who am I to judge?
Yeah, I mean, Renekton is one of those champions that certainly in a state like this could be classed as one. It's not a Z, it's maybe not as elegant, but it certainly is looking oh so good. Max level 15 with the GA and every item complete bar 1. Sitting on a longsword to round out this game in such explosive fashion and say, this is the game you should be tuning in for. The group stage is here, and this is what the group death really does look like.
I just want to chant death again, because Group B has delivered us 2 incredibly close series so far. SBTC have all but won this game. This is their game to lose just because of character scaling. Even though they only have a 1,000 gold lead, they have Yasuo, they have Senna, who are going to hurt so much in these late game team fights. We didn't see that TF. So all that matters right now is Alliance, can you wield Ozraveki successfully? He's kind of their only
Look at
path
this
back
though,
into this
that's a
game.
lot of pressure onto Jelson, forcing out his maximum dosage. The ultimate doesn't get used. The disrespect there from the Mundo burns the flash, and they may have just lost the game as a result of this one.
That's
here,
it.
TJ. Kirill has claimed the double. He's unstoppable. The explosive cask is absolutely insane. The displacement that SBTC are showing, the conviction to go for any target, no matter who you are, nets them the win in game number 1.
And what better sign of an SBTC game?
What this team's capable of. I did have a question with the Dr. Mundo pick. You know, of course, Alliance had some kind of plan coming into it, but what should they have done in order to, I guess, make the Dr. Mundo pick as work as maybe like, you know, when Team Secret drafted it? What do you think, Gamer Nissim?
Well, this is a really difficult one. I'm no Dr. Mundo expert, so I really couldn't tell you. I think that the most important things perhaps were just to have some form of disengage so that they could at least have a way out. I think the Rakan was a little bit too ambitious. What I really do want to highlight going into game number 2 though is the fact that Alliance have chosen blue side and they want to get early first pick prio. I'm quite curious what this first pick is going to be, because it's just generally you see them play teams that lose go towards red side so you can get the 2 strong picks instead.
This is fine, right? Because I think what we always talk about with blue side is it just adds up that there's about like 7 or 8 power picks in the game right now, so you will end up trading one most of the time. Renekton being banned away by SBTC means this Riven goes over here to SSK, and I do think we might be likely to see either a Varus or something like a Kai'Sa or Xayah come out here, looking like a very aggressive start to the draft for Alliance though.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna dive in there. But you know what? I feel like, you know, I'm a little scared here for Alliance because they did try to do that previously. Didn't exactly work out for them. I feel like SBTC Esports, they know how to counter this. What do you think, Gamer Nissim?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, what we're seeing right now from Alliance is effectively their best form, right? This is the Alliance that we've seen play throughout the Singapore Region Icon series. You know, going into SSC, we also saw similar ideas where they also had a very powerful bottom side with the Rakan Xayah kind of combo. And Alliance right now, I like what they're trying to pick up. SBTC though, what they're saying is that they want to be able to mechanically outplay them and be able to out-macro them by having the Galio matched with the Fiora.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of situation that SBTC want to be in. They want to be in a zone where they can play it out this way, mechanics max you, and something really spicy might be coming out here. Let's wait and see. I don't wanna say something and be proven wrong, but we might be seeing some role swaps come in. Let's just say the least.
Okay, well, we could see the Ashe mid, and then they play to try and shut down the side lane. That we've seen that happen before with Team Flash, so it's not an entire leak, Omo. But
Oh no,
SBTC
it's
Esports,
spicier than that, if it's what I think
boy.
it is.
All right, well,
Yeah,
let's-
Until he wasn't. So TJ, they've run it back. They've said, you know what, Jelson, do what you do best. Carry. Play the Kha'Zix. We've got so much CC. The world is your oyster.
And not only that, but passing the Ashe to mid lane really raises some in. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a flash burn very early on, as SSK says, why is everybody here in the mid lane?
Oh, challenged here. This is really rough. This is going to be a very slow start for SSK. I don't know if that's going to manifest into anything, but Yanaro's going to have a significant early gold lead. So the Ashe flex to the mid lane raises a ton of interesting. You gotta let me talk here.
You're not allowed to talk, TJ. You've been banned because these players have a point to prove. CWJ bullies at a member and says, Aquino, you need to take the long way back into this lane. Yes, will we get to talk? Maybe we will.
Yeah, so it looks like we've stabilized. This Ashe is going to play down in the bot lane, even though it's being played by Ozraveki. And that answers some questions. So this is a full CC composition. You're going to be looking for gold cards.
Yes, gold cards and sometimes the gold medal. That's the first bloods. And SBTC have grabbed it.
Akino's like 1 HP and he's walking towards Ozraveki and I'm terrified I'm never going to get the chance to speak. This is all about the stuns. I'm going to say this really quickly. Alliance are all about the stuns right now. They're relying on the enchanted crystal arrows from Ozraveki as well as the gold cards coming out from Raven. And if they can combine those, they have a chain of CC that can be followed up upon by CWJ on the Gragas, which means that all the damage kind of needs to come from Jelson and SSK. They need to be the front line and they need to be able to pick off key targets.
Beautiful speed run there. Couldn't have said it better myself. The fight does now continue perfectly timed as TF is the focus. Oh, but look at CWJ! Evaporated! Gone in a heartbeat. Blink and you'll miss it. And the four-man strength squad here of SBTC are out for blood, hunting in the night to get that second. But it's not before Azuraveki answers back with a kill of his own, and Julie with the clutch barriers enough to survive.
You're kidding
and
me!
also TF on the Vi, literally 1 HP to their name.
They have 2 HP combined, and it's enough for SBTC to walk away with a big win in the bottom lane. And CWJ is going to press this advantage, I swear. No, okay, they were going to reset, thank God. So this is all about right now SBTC trying to just put this composition in the dirt before the CC chain comes online. Because for these first couple of levels, you don't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You can already see the beginnings of this composition being really scary, as the gold cards are quite often chaining with CWJ's Gragas, and that's just a month of stun if you get hit by it. Imagine how deadly it's going to be once the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is here. But
So
it's
close.
not yet, which is why SBTC pressed that early fight down bottom.
But it isn't without Alliance answering back, saying we might not have the ultimates, but we're still keen to brawl. We're keen to take these trades wherever we can find them. We don't want to allow SBTC that free run into that 5-minute mark.
Well, it's through the 2 that are online, right? Like I just said, you're looking at Raven and CWJ as the sources of stun that are already online, and they're playing through that.
Topside is where they are right now, as they are hunting out to see what's available. They are going to spot that their red buff is there for the taking. TF is in the area, and he's pathing towards it. But it looks like the ultimate prize here. Put some pressure onto your Nero. Get the timing down, Pat. 30 seconds for the Drake, 30 seconds for the Herald. And another gank's going to take place. Of course it will. Aquino! Oh, this time he falls on down. 1 HP is not the clutch number anymore. It is an answer back. And Julie gets the kill.
Support for mid. SBTC take that any day of the week. And this is the kind of flip side for SBTC. They have a ton of mid and late game power in the Kai'Sa, in the Ziggs. They do so much burst damage, and Alliance are running a very lightweight composition. They do not have a ton of HP or tank. So all SBTC want to do is get their big burst damage online and start one-shotting members of Alliance. And if they can do that before Jelson is picking them off and assassinating them, before the stun chains are just killing their own squishy characters, then they'll win this game. If we get into late game with both these comps online, it'll rely entirely on the duel between CWJ and Arkano as the 2 big tank members, as the 2 denial members who can keep their team alive. Here's the Drake.
They're going to be the bodyguards in this game, saying, you shall not pass. No reference to anything that I know of, obviously. We're not going to discuss that one. We're going to be focusing
For
on the
legal
game
reasons,
here.
not a reference. Just a set of words.
Absolutely nothing was said here as SBTC say, you know, first Drake, that's us. You're not going to contest it. Why would you? Go for the Herald, get some power elsewhere on the map, and play for the lane states. Find those item spikes to hit these CC chains. Out goes the Repose, cancel at the gold card. The focus now is on towards the Ziggs, flashing away, flashing into the Kha'Zix, a freebie for him. He does take out Twisted Fate in the process. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but CWJ has gone already, and now Jelson is getting resets, buddy hopping all over the show, taking down names, getting fed, and getting in the best place possible as the Kha'Zix.
And that fight might be a win for Alliance, because this is the Jelson show. This entire game is predicated on the assumption that Jelson can win it. So Jelson gets a Rift Herald, that's going to be gold in his pocket. He gets 2 kills, that is gold in his pocket. And I struggle to see that as a win for SBTC, even though they trade well in that team fight. The fact that Jelson gets bigger should be very worrying, because everyone else is just kind of here to apply stuns. It's in a way Jelson and his 4 supports.
There's a valid point also brought up on the desk as to where this Ashe could have gone. We have already seen, played by Team Flash in the plains, and Ashe planted in the mid lane. It was designed to just shoot out arrows on cooldown, on repeat, elsewhere across the map, stop the split push, and deter the fight, and that worked out phenomenally. Same principle here, a lot of CC, and the ability then for the Twisted Fate to rock up to the party as well. Now the pressure is going towards Fiora. Love to see it. Herald is summoned, instantly destroys the first turret that Alliance will find.
Look at that use of Destiny from Raven. Uh-oh.
Explosive cast, 2-man taunt as well, a lot of CC, but little follow-up just yet. Julian in trouble, he's locked inside the river on his own. Satchel charge to run away. TF the focus now, as they've already collapsed onto 1. Another 1-for-1 trade, they're always trading. That's the most important part to keep tabs on, as 6 minutes in, the gold lead is still very small.
And Jelson gets more gold, not only from the first turret that he just broke in the top side, but also from the kill onto Kiril. So Alliance, despite being at a gold deficit here, are kind of winning. Because this is their composition, feeding money into Jelson before this game even really begins for them, because they don't yet have the Ashe combo online. They don't yet have the full damage from Ozraveki. And it's kind of interesting he's gone Blade of the Rune King. I was almost anticipating a more supportive build from him. Blade of the Rune King is going to provide a decent damage spike. This is going to very likely turn crit for this Ashe. And that's going to mean that there's a second damage source in the mid-late game if they can keep Ozraveki alive. And you might be like, how do they do that? They don't really have any tanks. Well, the weird thing about playing an assassin composition like this is that because Jelson is so scary, SBTC have to full focus on him during teamfights, which means they can't spend that time diving Ozraveki on the Ashe. They're going to have to play defense, which acts as a kind of tanky frontline.
I'm just watching the skill shot simulator here, and Ozraveki is just copying everything thrown his way. Now, the challenge has been thrown at him in the bot side. You know, he's still not finding much success in a 1v1. Always a 2v1. And now the assault and battery cross map straight onto SSK. The satchel charge misses. The auto attack to follow. And the kill to secure as they take down the Baron laner.
They're going to lose a turret though. Like this is turret for turret, and all of this gold goes on to Jelson. So again, I don't know if, and they're not even going to get the turret. They have to back off. They're going to try and challenge here in mid. Okay, so they're feeding that gold from the top turret onto Kierol. But all the gold down bottom gets fed into Jelson. And again, I don't know if that is a positive trade for SBTC, because Jelson's existence in these fights is designed to shut down Kierol. So the effect of that gold is you know, 1.5 times as valuable in the hands of Jelson. If he can get onto Kierol on these backlines and blow him up, all the gold they just got to Kierol doesn't mean anything, right?
I mean, itemization, what would we like to see then come out from SBTC? Is this a Zhonya's game to deny the resets? Is this a game where you're picking up pockets to just be, you know, more durable to, you know, get that kill before they kill you?
I would be amazed if we didn't see a Zhonya's. I think you also look for shadows here to try and catch out Jelson as he's roaming through the jungle. That's very important.
Ooh, big damage. Ziggs packing a punch, that's for sure. Making it very difficult here for Alliance to stand strong and stand true. Dean trying to crystal out. The negative synergy though, as the explosive cast knocks Kirill back. Jelson on the flank, SSK to follow. He's been left on his own, left to an island, locked in Narnia, and dies staring down the barrel of 4 members of SBTC.
But again, Jelson gets the kill. He's able to find Darkano, so the trade is even. Even though SBTC should win that trade, they trade support for top laner, you're like, great, sick trade. Top laner's kind of there to set up for Jelson. Jelson gets money. I don't know.
He's the most gold in the game right now.
Yeah, Jelson, the Alliance composition is working as intended. It's making Jelson a big boy. And he's going to show you what he's been working on, like a proud kid with his noodle art. He's going to show up in the team fight and say, hey, SBTC, look what I made at school today.
Going to mature into a beautiful individual. And as he evolves, literally, as the Kha'Zix, then, you know, that artwork will become better and better until we reach the late game and it becomes Picasso.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Picasso started with hyper-realistic drawings and then got more and more abstract as time goes on. So I don't really know how to map that onto this Kha'Zix's evolution through the game. But sure.
True, true. I mean, hyper-realistic noodles. Love to hear it, love to see it, love to eat it. And that's what they're going to eat. They're going to cop a beautiful cast. CWJ starts the fight and they find that pick. Aquino gone, the bodyguard that SBTC so desperately need to weather these fights and to survive the onslaught thrown their way. Another gold card. And just like that, 4 members are out of the fight. They can't do much, and Alliance are marching towards this untouched tier 1.
SSK wants to dive. They've got the gold card. They're going to try this.
Oh, Raven goes for it. Jelson jumps in. He's getting Iceman targets. It's such an easy playground here.
He's got 2.
Oh, Julie. So lucky. He nearly found a triple, but Jelson and the boys are putting in work.
This is one of the most exciting compositions I've ever seen a team execute in Wild Rift. Putting all of your money onto a Kha'Zix, drafting full stuns, full displacement around him, and believing. And Alliance have that faith. Alliance's fans should have that faith by now in Jelson, in the jungle. as he manages time and time again to dance through these team fights untargeted and find kills. One of the things you called out at the very beginning of this fight that was the right call was, wow, they sure focused Arkano, because Arkano is kind of the only character over on SBTC that can stop that style of play. His AoE taunt is really scary if you're Jelson, because he can keep up with you, he can lock you down, and it doesn't much matter who you're targeting, because the AoE encompasses all of the AD carries, all of the backline players that you're trying to protect if he plays it right. So watch the dive from Jelson, but also watch what Arkano is up to, because it really is a duel between those two players.
SBTC going back onto the map, the third dragon of the game, up in 30 seconds. But before that, they want to siege. They want to press their split pushing advantage. They want to enable Unero to say, we don't necessarily have to group. Let's break open the base. Let's open up those separate win conditions. A nice riposte and a good flash after as the gold card.
They're taking inhib.
They are pressuring that inhib, as you say. It's already down to one plate remaining. SBTC putting out a lot of work. And they're forcing Alliance hand. The cask again. The focus is Aquino. The dash in from TF. But it's not enough. They haven't found that kill. They haven't crippled their health bars enough. The Dragon at distant afterthought. TF is inting. He's jumped in and gone for the play. Oh no, Aquino's crashed on down, but he's already a dead corpse on the floor. They're getting baited by this inhibitor. It's too juicy of a target. And they're not done yet. They've called in the cavalry, and Unero is here.
Okay. I think you're absolutely right. He was inting there. TF trying to make a very aggressive play, force that inhibitor turret down. You understand the risk he's taking there, because if they do get that inhibitor, that's a massive gain for SBTC. But you wait another second, you get the TP, you have a very favorable fight down there, and instead he forces to play, and now it's a 50-50 chance. It's a coin flip on this fight for this Dragon, and this is an Infernal Drake. It's very important to this game, and it's just going to come down to raw team fight execution.
Game is as close as anything so far. 14 minutes and only 2K separating these two.
Jelson!
Oh no, Jelson's gone. It's an all-important shutdown, the biggest shutdown you'll see here today. It is the Kazakhs comp, but he's gone. Unero's surviving just for the meantime. Oh, he dashes away. It's not enough. He falls on down. They found that one-for-one trade, but SBTC were member strong, guarantee their third Drake of this match.
They put Arkano out there on a fishing line. Say, hold on to this, bud. And sure enough, Jelson bites. He goes in trying to burn down Arkano again, pick off that Galio, the hard counter to their composition, and just gets pulled in hook, line, and sinker, full CC combo. And now SBTC want this Baron.
They've taken the bait again, haven't they? The Baron dances there, 4v5 they go. Ziggs already exploding into action. Raven double summoners, it doesn't matter. SSK gets the kill though to answer back, but now stopwatches, Zhonya's, they're all being used. The stasis effects, the resets, the chance to try and find these cooldowns again. Jelson's back, but Jelson's gone again. They stopped the Baron, but they're trading so heavily. And, I mean, SBTC are loving it.
Okay, but you can see... Oh, dear. Okay. You can see the setup that I was talking about kind of becoming a really serious threat a few moments ago. Because of how much threat Jelson is offering, if they operate simultaneously in a team fight, SBTC need to choose between focusing down Ozraveki and focusing down Jelson. They need to choose one of those targets, and if they ignore either one of them, they're going to lose the fight. So they need to force one of those targets away, then threaten the other. And they get very lucky here, as Ozraveki doesn't have the positioning to engage at the same time as Jelson, but we're here for round two.
We're back to live. We're on to the Baron. Another Zhonya's, another chance to try and survive in this one. As Ozraveki's already burnt that ultimate. He's flashed away. He survived for the meantime. The Baron is still there, getting closer and closer. By the second of smite range. Have they stolen it? They have not been successful.
He's got two,
but they've taken down two. They're looking for the third, and they will. Now you've only got two members left with this Baron buff. They've already run to the hills. Aquino tried to BD the inhibitor all the meanwhile. And now you just got a 6 in the galley with the buff to push with.
CWJ barely stops that wave. Here's Jelson hunting Arkano. Okay.
Breathe.
Hunting a big statue doesn't go well for him. So SBTC have kind of outlasted this composition, it feels like. They've got a couple of seconds here where they can just burn through turrets, and if they can open up an inhibitor, it's very, very hard for Alliance to execute.
Diggs, Baron, Satchel Charge gone. That's one. Translate that into the second. Another minion wave soon to come on in. Perfect timing. Great read of the map as well. Just waiting for that central charge once more. There's the animation. There's the crash down. Ziggs is gone. A beautiful focus. Raven hot on the finger, ready to deploy that gold card when it matters the most. Jelson gets in and he just survives with a nick of health. And they've held on strong for the meantime. That top inhibitor has been taunting SBTC for what feels like an eternity.
And for some reason,
Ynira?
okay.
Oh, Ynira, what was that? What was that?
And for some reason, SBTC get very greedy there. They have more players on the map. They have more threat on the map kind of coming their way with the Baron buff in hand, but they force this top lane inhibitor fight at a 3v5.
Are you not entertained? 38 kills so far. We are punching on, and we're not slowing down any time yet. SSK jumps in. He claims the double kill. They're burning through these respawn timers, and this is hurting. This really is hurting now. 50 seconds of staring at a grey screen.
They just tried to 2v3, and I could not tell you why. I could not tell you why TF felt it was necessary to full engage there. He and Carol could probably do it, maybe do it, but why would you take that risk?
Oh, here we go. Alliance. Yet to get a single Drake this game, but it's a mountain Elder.
Up.
All important.
And SBTC don't have their jungler. It's going to come up before TF respawns because they just inted down the mid lane. Alliance could win this off of this Elder take.
Huge mitigation offered here to Jelson
They've
to allow
got to
him to
burn
be
it.
as aggressive as he has been all game long. What is the play? They're targeting Raven in the mid lane. The arrow goes out. He's flashed away into the Raptor pit, buying time, drawing the attention of SBTC elsewhere. Can he Destiny back in? No, he's already burnt it. Explosive cast used. TF Enchant coming on through, looking to try and TP into this fight. A sword and battery! He's got the flash, he's got the chilling smite, and he's got that kill. Yniro popping on through. They've got the kills that matters the most. They've weathered the storm, they've ignored the Elder. And surely now, TJ, they can finally take that top inhib.
I don't know. Because SBTC need the Baron to end this game at this point, and if they 5-on-5 teamfight Alliance with the Elder in Alliance's hands, I do not know if they win. Everything SBTC has done for the entirety of this game was kind of thrown away by TF's run down the mid lane. The second time TF has afforded Alliance a massive chance in this game, and this Baron's going to be a coin flip because of it. A 4v4 very likely for the game. SBTC setting up, but spotted out by that excellent arrow, the Hawk coming out of Ozurabeki. Here comes the fight.
Triple TP. Alliance don't have a single one. There is no deep vision. Notice Raven's positioning. He's waiting for that call. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes out. There's the Destiny. He does not have the rapid fire cannon active just yet. There it is now, but just out of range. Just out of range. And they know that this fight will come down to that Baron. Sure, they have to wrestle control of mid lane because those inhibitors will not be respawning. And it's really game on for SBTC to play it patient, play it cool, and not fall victim to Alliance all in.
You really need here Raven to be doing the side laning, because while SSK is in the side lane, he's very easy to focus down. Raven with the ult up can teleport back to the fight. It's most of the way recharged now. So I want to see Raven starting to take over the side laning, starting to take over wave clear duties, whilst the rest of Alliance take the 5-on-5 that is going to decide this game.
They've got the vision control, but Hawk Shot, what a beautiful skill that is. Completely mitigates any kind of face-shaking equation that may have been considered there.
That Hawkshot Destiny may win them this game.
Yeah.
Because Alliance at all times know what SBTC are up to, meaning that the Vietnamese team cannot operate their typical ganking setup. And check this out, Raven's doing exactly what I asked him to. He's just split laning, he's got the Destiny up, he needs to teleport back, but he can see that everyone's in the middle of the map right now, so he's just going for an inhib.
SBTC caught between a rock and a hard place right there. Arrow goes
stopping
out,
the
delays
backs.
the recall.
He's going
He's
for the
got
game.
it. He's taking that inhib. He's working onto the Nexus. He's got a PD. He's stolen the game. Oh no. Alliance have won the game with a backdoor and broken the deadlock to tie up this series.